You're listening to the Friends Talking Nerdy Podcast Network.
Friends Talking Nerdy.
It's Hump Day! Welcome to another episode of Hump Day. This is Tim Jousma, and joining me is the lovely, the vivacious, the smart, the extra everything, greatest legal mind of the Pacific Northwest. It is Professor Aubrey.
Well, howdy, folks.
Yes, what type of... what a great intro, right?
That was really nice, yeah. Tim is the sexiest voice in podcasting today.
That's right. Everybody else is number two. No.
That's right, they're poopy.
Yeah, except for you.
No, well, I'm the second sexiest voice in podcasting today.
No, I would say first for me. But anyway, we are here for another Hump Day, and we initially had a topic on hand that we wanted to talk about in terms of healthcare, in terms of women in healthcare, and all that stuff. But recording schedules being what they are, we felt that it was best to tackle that topic at another time. I'm thinking next week is as good a time as any, right?
Yeah, we just need a little bit more time to process.
Yeah, that, and also, life did happen, and that's going to happen no matter what. That's the life.
But related to healthcare.
Indeed. So what I thought we would do here is have a little bit of fun at talking about and answering the questions to the Colbert Questionnaire.
That sounds so fun.
Yeah, for folks that are familiar, it's apparently a newer thing that he's doing on late night, but it's essentially his version of the questions that were asked on Inside the Actor Studio. And I think I even asked you those questions at one point on the show, right?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, so this is somewhat similar. It doesn't have as many philosophical questions. It's more just everyday stuff, I guess, but that does not mean it's bad questions. I think we'll have some fun asking these.
Yeah, I like them.
All right, so what we decided is that we are going to just switch off between these, and so I will answer the first one. Do you want to read that question for the folks?
Yeah, so Tim, what is the best sandwich?
Oh man, I've never really had one sandwich that I go to no matter what, but to me, the best sandwiches are always at local delis. Just a hole in the wall place. Guy who owns it's probably 60, 70 years old or something like that. And they can just put together the best damn sandwich that you can think of with, ingredients you never thought of. I remember this one local shop I went to in Sacramento, they would put in cream cheese in the sandwich, but just a nice layer at the bottom. And they would spread it out and whatnot, but you're eating it, it's that's cream cheese. Oh my goodness.
Interesting.
Yeah, and me with a sandwich, I want a lot on it. Even with peanut butter and jelly, I'm put a lot of peanut butter right in the middle, and then you got to squish it.
I see. So there's a very famous sandwich shop in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania called Permante's. Mm-hmm. And they make sub sandwiches, like a grinder hero sandwich, and they put french fries in it. Have you ever had that sandwich with french fries?
I have not, but it does sound good.
I think you would love it.
There was one picture I saw of this burger monstrosity that I wanted to eat so bad. It was like 3 burgers, and then it had a ton of cheese, and then they had mozzarella sticks, and then they had bacon, and then they had a whole bunch of other stuff. It was they might as well have a defibrillator at the table next to you after you're done eating it, because you're going to have a lot of grease in your system, but man, did it look good.
I'm so glad that you never had the opportunity to eat that.
Yeah, we wouldn't be talking today.
Probably not.
Yeah, it's not that I would be dead. It's just that she would see me eat that and be like, what the fuck, man?
There are some roads too far.
Yes. So, all right, how about I ask you your first question?
Sounds good.
All right, what is the one thing that you own that you should really throw out?
Well, I probably have some paperwork that I really, really don't need in a box. I have one plastic file box that still has papers in it, including some work that I did in law school. Like, I think I have some law school papers and maybe even some undergrad papers. I'm not sure. But like back from the time when like you didn't, like I probably had the law school paper on a floppy disk, like one of the small ones.
Yeah.
And like it just becomes obsolete. So then you can't use that for anything. And then all you have is the paper. And do I need that paper? I've had it for 17 years, something like that. Do I really need that? Have I used it for anything? Have I even looked at it? No. So I could probably have a harsher eye towards old stuff like that. I don't feel like I have too much of it. Like I have very little of it compared to many people I've known. But at the same time, I don't like having anything that I don't need.
Yeah, so you realized you weren't preserving your records for history?
Like my papers, at some point I was like, yeah, nobody's going to need my papers. At some point I gave up on that. At some point I must have thought this could be useful in the future.
Even then, though, like, you know, think of, like, all the politicians that we have, like, all their, you know, like, educational history and all that stuff. Like, do their papers really matter in the grand scheme of things?
Well, if you become president, they give you a whole library to put your papers in. What if I was like, I don't have any papers? I mean, that's why I'm not going to be president. Like, at some point it becomes irrelevant. But for some people, it could be relevant. And it's not like I thought I was going to be the president someday, but I thought maybe I could be something important.
Yeah. I mean, it's, as far as I'm concerned, you are something important right now, being a professor, teaching young minds and all that stuff.
Oh, well, thank you.
All right. How about you ask me the next one?
Okay, I have to put my glasses on for that. So let's see. What is the scariest animal?
Well, that is a unique question because I could easily just, name an animal that, creeps me out or something like that. But that's a little too easy because that's just my reaction to them. That, the animal is being an animal. My being scared of it is irrelevant. But the scariest animal I can think of is, I read it in an article. It happened in Siberia. There was a hunter that was shooting, saw a tiger. Shot the tiger, left it for dead, went home. The tiger survived. The tiger searched for 3 days, found the person in his home, killed him and his family.
Whoa, badass tiger. Tiger revenge. That's the scariest animal?
I mean...
That specific tiger?
Yeah, I mean, think about it. I mean, like the Russian authorities ended up unfortunately taking the tiger out, but think about how insane that is. That tiger, with its own instincts, with sense of smell, whatever, traveled for 3 days, injured with a gunshot wound to find this guy to kill him and his family. That is definitely scary and definitely that would make a great movie.
Okay, I get that it would make a great movie and it's a good story, but aren't you more afraid of things that are more risky? Like, what is the risk of you running into a Siberian tiger? Like, if I saw if I walked out of my house and saw a Siberian tiger, I'm just laying down on the sidewalk and saying, come eat me or whatever, because I have no chance against the Siberian tiger. But there's like a tiny, 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 tiny risk of that happening. Whereas, poisonous things that live around here are a little more scary to me. But far be it from me to make you deal with life on the ground here.
Yes, I'm in my own fantasy world, All right, here is your next question. Apples or oranges?
Oh, definitely. Oranges forever, for sure. It's citrus season. So I love citrus season. Apple season, I don't get excited about. Like, there's nothing particularly refreshing about an apple.
Believe it or not, family members that have done like Ancestry.com or stuff like that, genealogy stuff, like my sister, have found out that my family is related to Johnny Appleseed.
Johnny Appleseed. I think many Americans are related to Johnny Appleseed.
Like everybody's 1/16th Native American. Is that what you're saying?
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that this country was populated by a fairly small population of people who came from relatively the same places, Germany, England, Northern Europe.
Well, and it goes to show that in past times they did have bigger families because they had to, they had to keep on trying. So,
Yeah, like you can look at the land grants to a particular county, and what happens after the land is given from the sovereign to another person is it just starts fracturing the ownership. So you get smaller and smaller pieces of land, and that sort of, you can see that happen.
Cool.
Anyhow.
All right, what is my next question?
Have you ever asked someone for their autograph?
Me personally, no. I did 1 year with my son Luke. He's a big Nintendo fan and loves Mario. Charles Martinet, the guy who voices Mario in the video games, was at one of the Comic-Cons. So for that, I paid. But generally, I try to avoid that because, call me crazy, but, the celebrities are people too. And unless there's like an honest way for me to interact with these people in a legitimate way and not just, excuse me, sir, I saw you in this movie and I'm a big fan. I don't want to be that person. A lot of times you hear most celebrities are going to treat you nice, but, what if somebody's having a bad day and then that one person that just, didn't think anything, wanting to be the one, just thinking, sir, let me ask for your autograph. But the guy who's being asked has had a bad day. I mean, I don't know. I just feel bad. I think there are appropriate times to get autographs. You can buy them. You can, go to like a Comic-Con and get them. But I would never just walk up to any celebrity and be like, hey, can I get your autograph?
Yeah, me neither. I've never done it either.
Yeah, I mean, I know when I worked at Apple, there was one time I was able to interact as an employee to a customer, to a famous person, and that was Brian Bendis, who wrote for Marvel, writes for DC now, created Miles Morales, but again, that was a regular work. He was my customer, so I helped him out, but at the end of the transaction, I was like, I'm a huge fan, and he appreciated that. And that I have no problem with.
What did he say back to you?
Oh, he was very cool. I mean, like I've talked many times on the Friends Talking Nerdy archives about Brian Bendis, because like he would do stuff at like Comic-Cons, for instance, like he would bring gifts for everybody that asked him a question at like the Q&As, and like the first person that asked a question at one Q&A, I saw him, ask the question, and then Brian answered, and then he goes to the guy, okay, answer your question. Now come up and get your drone. So, I mean, he's just very, very good to his fans. So.
that's nice. Cool.
All right.
I would hate to meet a celebrity that I like and have them be mean to me.
That would suck, especially too if the being mean is not necessarily like them ripping into you, but just what if they're having a bad day? I mean, how many times have you had a bad day and unintentionally, did something to make somebody feel bad? I mean, it's happened to everybody.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But also too, to your point, yeah. I mean, I would feel sick if I like went up to a celebrity that I absolutely adored and then they turned out to be complete assholes. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the thing about some celebrities. You would think they would be, they would take time to think about the fact that, how they present themselves in public can affect their paycheck as well.
Yeah, I mean, that would be motivation if other nicer motivations weren't present, it would seem like.
Yeah.
But I feel like the artistic types, your artists, your actors and directors and producers and musicians, like, they're all a little bit
out there.
Yeah, like the creative part of their brain sort of sucks up some of their energy to be typical. So they're very, out of the ordinary kinds of folks. Mm-hmm. And sometimes that can be expressed in being like hostile to people for no reason. So, I mean, I definitely believe stories about, I think a celebrity, just like any other kind of person, is capable of anything. But it is nice when they can be nice. I think it is professional of them to be nice.
Yeah, I mean, because, again, like I mentioned, I mean, at bare minimum, being nice to people is not going to leave a bad taste in their mouth, and they're going to be more than likely to, want to watch your next movie or TV show or whatever.
That's right, you celebrity listeners. Be nice to your fans.
Damn right. All right. Next question. You ready?
Yep.
All right. What do you think happens when we die?
Well, that is a very deep question. And the question I think that, like most philosophy, strives to answer. I mean, I think the factual answer, what do I think happens when we die? Our body decomposes and returns to, as its constituent parts, breaks down into its elements, and then is recreated into something else.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I think happens when we die. Now, would I like to think that something else happens and that my spirit, like my collective knowledge, my experiences, my soul, maybe you'd call it, would live on in some way so that I could continue to experience life? Of course. Mm-hmm. And if it is, that's awesome. And the way that I think it would be the best is sort of a reincarnation, and you are a soul that is like experiencing life in order to reach higher levels of enlightenment. And as you do so, challenges present themselves to you in different ways, in different forms, as you are reincarnated as different things.
Trippy.
But that, I have no evidence for that. I don't actually think that happens when you die. I would just like to think it does.
I get you. I mean, yeah, it would definitely, the good parts of life, make it enjoyable, make it to where you want to, do it some more. And the fact that, there is an end date, it's natural for anybody to hope for something more. And yeah, it would be cool if, like, when I died, I opened up my eyes and all of a sudden, hey, somewhere else, whatever. But
All of a sudden, I'm a rock star. Or, like, I think for a lot of us, that looking to the afterlife is like you can't see how the here and now life is going to get much better. And so you have to look to something that's going to miraculously happen that there's no evidence for, because everything there is evidence for, and thus everything that's likely to actually happen, sucks.
On that note, what's the next question?
So, Tim, tell me, what's your favorite smell? See, this is totally unfair that I got. What happens when you die?
No. What is your favorite action movie?
Oh, I'm sorry. What is your favorite action movie, Tim?
Okay, I have so many, but favorite, I gotta go with Die Hard. I mean, it's a coin flip, honestly. Die Hard or Terminator 2 Judgment Day.
Well, I've seen Die Hard, but I've never seen Terminator 2 Judgment Day.
Say what?
It's true.
Damn. Well, I love that movie. I think it's one of the greatest action movies ever made. And if you want to watch it, we can.
Okay. I'll totally watch it.
Mm-hmm. But, yeah, I love the humor in both the movies. I love the characterization in the movies. There are real people, if that makes sense, in these movies. What I mean by that is that the actors make you believe that they are there, and not just putting on a performance like a Parker Posey.
I see.
Yes, I still don't like her.
You don't think she's a good actress?
I don't. But I mean, she's getting work, so my opinion does not matter, of course. But to me, every time I've seen her perform, I just think back to my first time in college in my 20s when I was a theater major, and all the actresses I saw.
I see. So it was a more personal wound. Maybe because I didn't do that, it doesn't bother me so much.
Something like that, yeah. And to be clear, I am fully aware that this is just my own personal bias here. This, if she were ever to listen to this, obviously she wouldn't, just take it for what you will. But I just not a fan.
Okay.
All right, now we are here to ask you the important questions.
Okay, here we go. What
is your favorite smell?
My favorite smell. By Aubrey. So my favorite smell. There's so many smells I love. I mean, sweetgrass, Palo Santo, patchouli, lemongrass. Like, there are just so many smells that I'm just really attracted to. There are smells that I'm really turned off by, like the smell of smoke, especially old fire smoke. Just something about it is just so acrid. I can't take it.
Which is ironic because we got a fireplace.
But it doesn't burn logs. It doesn't smell like a fire.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't smell like an old fireplace. But picking a favorite smell is really hard. But I'm going to go with my favorite smell. I'm going to go with sweetgrass. I really think it is maybe my favorite smell.
Any particular reason, any memories that come up when you smell it?
So many good memories. It's the smell of, it's a very similar smell, or the smell of fresh cut hay, not straw, which is just wheat grass, but hay, which is just a mixture of a mixed meadow, so includes a variety of plants, including various flowers and stuff. And when it gets cut, it just lets out the sweetest, freshest, dewiest, most wonderful smell. And it smells just like the sweetgrass that I keep in my office, that I like to have so that I can feel those feelings. It's like a springy, The world is full of possibility kind of smell.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a good smell.
Speaking of that,
Yeah, what's your least favorite smell, Tim?
my least favorite smell, I mean, it's been over 30 years since I've smelled this, but even the thought of it makes me cringe now. The smell of liver.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Just, for people that can enjoy that as food, congrats, but just, wow, I've never seen a more revolting food ever made. Like, I had to, hold my nose and cover it with so much, A1 steak sauce.
But then you actually ate it.
Because, yeah, it was with a babysitter the last time I did it, and there was the type of babysitter, you better eat everything on your plate.
Wow, that sucks, man.
Yeah,
It's
so
like trauma.
why do you think I haven't eaten it since? Just absolute, just filth. There are some things that should just not be eaten.
I actually like chicken livers if they're cooked in a particular way, which is wrapped in bacon and broiled. It's called rumaki, which is a made-up 70s Japanese appetizer.
Because of course.
Because, of course, it came from, Good Housekeeping in 1978 or something.
Yeah, it's the classic Japanese dish made in Pasadena.
Right. What I like to do is get chicken livers and wrap them up in bacon and then broil them. It's just like a teppanyaki kind of, izakaya kind of dish.
Well, okay then.
Okay.
You can have all you want.
All right, darling.
All right, here is your question. Exercise, is it worth it?
Is it worth it? It is definitely worth it. Exercise. I really love exercising. I don't do it as much as people who are crazy for exercise do it, but I really enjoy it, and it makes me feel better. It just improves my mood and how my body feels, and I just like moving my body. It's not about making my body into anything or anything like that. I just enjoy the act of moving my body around. Is that a good enough answer?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not one to go to the gym myself, but I definitely love a good long walk.
Yes, you do. A very long walk.
Damn right. All right.
Flat or sparkling, Tim?
When it comes to water, it has to be flat.
Really? And of course, I'm an aficionado of the fizzy water.
I have tried it. There's, what is that, the New York Seltzer?
Yeah, but that's just like soda because it has sugar in it.
Yeah, I mean, that was okay. But, for the most part, if I'm going to have a carbonated drink, it's got to have some flavoring in it. And, the LaCroix, even though it says it has a flavor on it, no, battery acid's not a flavor.
Oh, I love fizzy water.
That's great. You can have all you want.
I know. I don't have to compete with you for the fizzy water.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's. I don't have as much of a grudge against sparkling water as I do liver. So, would I drink a sparkling water at times? Sure, I'm not that much against it, but push comes to shove, just go to the tap, turn it on, put it in a glass, and I'm good.
Cool, man. That makes you easy like Sunday morning.
That's right. All right, here is your next question. What is the most used app on your phone?
It has to be email. No, it has to be the messaging app. The text messaging app.
Yes.
Yeah.
You do a lot of texting throughout the day?
I do a lot of texting throughout the day. I got people to keep up with, stuff to do.
A busy woman.
I'm a busy woman.
All right. Any stories about the messaging app? When did you fall in love with it?
When did I fall in love with the messaging app? Well, I must say that I do enjoy messaging. It is a good way to keep in touch with people. I prefer it to the phone.
Same here. Like, I've lost a friendship because, the other person did not want to text.
I can see that.
Yeah, and just for me, 9 times out of 10, especially with my anxiety, it's just much easier to just text. And also, especially if you're having a difficult conversation, it can be easier to write it out than to speak it out, especially when you can stutter when you have anxiety and all that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that all has to be personal, what works for each person. Like, there are lots of ways to communicate. And I think it is it's sort of ableist to be like, you must communicate in the way that I want you to communicate.
Yep. And that's why I don't communicate with that person.
All right. Is it my turn?
Yes.
I asked the question?
Yes.
Okay, Tim, you get one song to listen to for the rest of your life. What is it?
Oh, man. Tough one. I would probably just stick with Won't Get Fooled Again from The Who.
Yeah?
Yeah, I mean, it's nice and long for one, loud rock, loud. I mean, it's just everything I love in a song, so, Bohemian Rhapsody could probably, on a different day could probably top the list too, because Bohemian Rhapsody, to me, Bohemian Rhapsody encapsulates everything good about rock and roll, because it has the, melodic side, it has the ballad side, it has the goofy side, and it has the hard rock side in it.
Wow. I would definitely... So the question is not what song do you have to listen to for the rest of your life. Mm-hmm. You could choose to just stop listening to music if you didn't want to listen to it. Because I was going to say either one of those songs would make me very upset if I had to listen to it for the rest of my life.
Not a fan.
It's not even that I'm not a fan. It's just they're the kind of songs that I've already heard too many times. Like you've heard them... a few times, and it's just like, it's such a long song. The payoff is just not worth it anymore.
You shut your mouth. No.
I mean, fair. It wasn't asked to me. It was asked to you, so.
I'm kidding. All right. Now I'm going to ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
What number am I thinking of?
7.
No.
Okay.
It was 69.
Oh, I was so close. I picked between 6 and 9. Describe the rest of your life in 5 words.
Keep on chasing your dreams.
Very good job. That's excellent. Keep on chasing your dreams.
Yes. So... Yes, I saw that was going to be the last one. So a few questions before, I was thinking like, how many were there we go. So I took a little time to think of that. But yeah, I mean, like, you never know when or if, your dreams could turn into something bigger than what they are. And they're never going to be bigger than what they are if you put no work into them. The goal of life is to not obtain your dreams. It's to keep working towards it.
Yeah, I think that's true. And I think, count yourself lucky if you've got a dream that you can identify. Because for a lot of people, you don't even really know what it is that you want. And so it's hard to direct your energy to what you want when you're not quite sure what you really want.
Indeed.
So there's always a bright side. And the bright side of that is at least you know what you want.
And if you can't always get what you want, you get what you need, right?
If you try, sometimes.
Something like that. All right, so I think that wraps up another hump day. What do you think?
I think we wrapped it up with hump, 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 hump day, hump day.
That's the remix of the theme song.
Yes.
All right, so we will be back next week with a new episode. The topic, unless life happens again, the topic next week will be healthcare.
Awesome. Can't wait.
All right, anything else you want to say to our lovely audience before we leave?
Thank you so much for listening, and I hope that you have a wonderful day.
All right, enjoy the hump.